Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at Bitcoin. Let's get into the price action and see what's going on. We've had a major move to the downside, so we're going to discuss what we think this is. Okay, so we were talking about a couple of things yesterday. We're looking for the potential that we could be still looking for this fifth wave to play out and looking for this as potentially a 1-2, looking for this higher move here. However, now we've taken this low. So this kind of throws some cold water on this. What I'm keeping an eye out for is whether we actually completed into this and we had a truncation here. If this is the case, what we could actually do is this move to the downside could then begin a bigger structure that we are looking to actually break down deeper. There are another couple of ways we're looking at this. The fact is, this is starting to become a bit big in relation to this move here now. So what I want to see within this is potentially we could still call it a fourth wave, but we've come down really deep now. We've actually lost this 50%, so it's looking less likely. So what I would be looking for if it effectively here now is whether we have something like this rather playing out where we're looking for this wave 2. So the zone I'd be looking to potentially would be the 0.618. We just came down, not quite to this point, but it does look like we potentially still have some more within this move. So what I would be looking for within the structure here is if I just turn on this corrective move here, we're talking about this potential for actually, breaking down one more time here. And with the fact that we came up here and now we've taken this low, we have to treat this just as a corrective structure to the upside. So either this is the end of the fifth wave where we've truncated, or alternatively, we have formed this as a W to the downside. This is an X and we're looking for that Y. So that Y wave actually would be 1-1 down here at this 28,614. But I'm having a look at this and, potentially we need to keep an eye on this channel here towards this 28,979 to this 28,878 area. The problem is it does look like we seem to be getting some extensions within these waves. So we've got to be just a little bit careful with this. This could still turn into that bearish count. So for as long as we hold this 28,454, potentially we can still look for this possibility of having a 1 and a 2 here. But if we start to lose this lower range here, we need to be careful that, something else isn't going on. And we've been talking about a couple of things recently. In the previous videos, we talked about the possibility of a bigger flat correction here, where we are looking at something like this, where we're looking to potentially come down towards this zone of this 28,381 to this 27,627. So that would be the normal range that we'd be looking for within a C wave if this is in relation to this A wave here. So that would be the one way we can look at this. Potentially, it could also extend down lower down here towards this 26,061 to this 25,355. So this could still play out as a flat correction here in a wave 2 position. So if this is the case, what we would be looking for is to see how we actually progress down here. And if we're looking for a C wave, we'd have to look at trying to count this impulsively to the downside. So how would we go about doing that? So the thing is, at the moment, we just have a corrective move down. Even though it is looking impulsive, we just have a corrective structure to the downside. What we were talking about previously was the potential that we were looking for, a fourth wave here, but we came up too high. So it is possible, technically speaking, that this could be a diagonal where this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we form a fifth wave as a expanding diagonal here. So this is one option that is still, viable. We didn't actually cross this wave too high, so we need to be on the lookout for this. If this is the case, we would have to have a move that moves down past this 1-1, which is here at this. So we've actually achieved that already. What we've done is we've come past this 29,060 area. So technically speaking, we've actually, come down deep enough for this to be a viable move here as a diagonal, but the structure doesn't look like it's completed. So what I would want to see within this is it does look like we have a couple of 1s and 2s in the top end of this move. So if we want to look at it in this move, basically as a 1, 2, sorry, as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a diagonal, I would still be expecting another low here. And I'm just going to throw this on here from this high. Fourth wave. There we go. Okay, so it's pretty much the same spot. So for as long as we stay actually below this zone here of this 29,770, I would still be looking for that potential to actually have another drop to the downside here. It does look, however, if I come down here into the smaller time frames, that we still are looking to expand down here. So, we can argue that we've got a couple of ones and twos in here. So potentially we could still be looking for some extension to the downside here. Basically, what I want to see is whether we start to see an additional fifth wave here, which could look to take us down into this range of this 28,897, and then to see whether we get rejection again to the upside. So it is possible, like I said, we've got the potential to have some additional ones and twos in here, in which case we could actually be looking for, some of these lower target ranges here. And we could actually look to extend out, a couple more times here for some additional, fourth and fifth waves to the downside. So we got to just be careful of this. If we fail to break back above in the shorter term here, if we fail to break back above this zone of the 29,559, I would be looking for this lower range here of this 28,897 to this 28,731. If, however, we do break down here, what we'll have to do is then basically just measure this next move here and argue that we come down into this zone. I'm actually going to just change the color on this so it is easier to see. And then we would be looking to see whether we actually break back above this 29,575, because what we're looking for is the potential within this that there's a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Then we'd get an additional fourth wave up here into this zone, potentially back into the same area as this fourth wave, and then look to push down one more time. If that's the case, what we could then see is this move extending out here some more, and basically the next target would be towards this 28,695 to this 28,509, and then from there we'd be looking for that potential for an additional fourth wave again here, which could then look to actually drag us down towards this zone here, of this 28,859 to this 28,208. So this is basically what we'll need to look out for here. If we do form something like this to the downside, I'm actually just going to group these quickly so that it's easier for me to turn them off. If we do move down like that, what we've got to be cautious of is within this, we could be looking, to actually extend out towards this lower range. If we break down towards this 28,198, what I would then be looking for is that potential that this has become another 1, 2, and we're actually in a bigger third wave here. We get a fourth wave and a fifth wave, then we'd get an additional fourth and a fifth wave to the downside. And that would be basically counting this move as a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we look to break down. Obviously, it has to move down towards this zone of this 28,198 for this to be viable. And for as long as we hold that support range and we hold that, that higher support range, and even if we do form an additional couple of waves down here, if we don't manage to reach this 28,198, potentially we could look to find support higher up. And that would be looking at finding support potentially in this zone here. So we can see how, we could still push down here. 786 is down here at this 28,454. Don't really want to start losing this zone. Otherwise, we can see how, this can potentially escalate into a much bigger move to the downside. So because we're looking for that potential, of that bigger 5-wave move down, we just need to be aware that we could still see that flat target area, which we talked about here, potentially coming into play towards this 28,381 to this 27,627. Obviously, we need to also be careful within these, because sometimes when we do get moves that extend to the downside, just like when they extend to the upside, we can get internal subdivisions of these. And really what we need to do to eliminate any kind of an impulsive structure here would be getting back above this 30,485. If we break back above that zone, then we can start to look for the fact that potentially this is just a bigger corrective move to the downside here. And what we will then be looking for is that possibility of, finding support within this range and then looking to push up again for that third wave. So depending on how deep we come here, this will change this target area for this third wave, which is currently sitting towards us 33,303. But yeah, we just need to be a little bit careful with this because this could continue to extend out here and start to break some of these key levels. If we're looking for that potential of an additional 1-2, breaking 27,800 would invalidate that possibility of looking at this as extending to the upside here. So we got to just, we got to be a little bit patient with this and just be careful of the fact that, if we do start to lose some of these key areas, what we could have, if I just turn some of this off again, is basically we were talking about a couple of things from this move further back here. And one of them was the possibility that within this we could have an extension within the wave one, in which case this could then become 1, 2, 3 into here, 4, and a 5. If this is the case, and we've actually completed a fifth wave to the upside here, and this is a completed move, what we need to be cautious of is a deeper retracement here, potentially down towards this 26,000 to this 21,594. Obviously, there's some key levels also in there. This 25,200 would be, retest of these zones here. And then above that, obviously, we do have the support zone just below us of sort of this 27,736. If we are looking for, that potential that we have having this bigger breakdown, I'll be looking towards these zones here for that, that potential area of support to come in. The problem is it's very difficult to count this as a five-wave move from here. So, we can potentially still look for support higher up here, but it would make more sense if we are going to start to break down here that and we start to lose some of these key levels that this is going to be our next support zone here. If we lose this low of this 19,574, what we need to be careful of is that this whole move to the upside has just not been a corrective move where this becomes A, this becomes B, this becomes C, and then we could actually still look for continuation to the downside and to take these lows. Obviously, we will be monitoring the waves as we see them playing out, and we will try to keep you up to date as best we can. But yeah, I mean, really, we don't want to lose this higher zone here. If we start to lose this area, it becomes just less likely that we're going to see the continuation playing out at that point, because if we start to lose this higher range here, this 28,454, this idea of having extension here starts to become really stretched. But yeah, really, as long as we hold that zone, we can look for continuation to the upside. The 1-to-1, like I said, of this as a corrective structure as a W, X, and a Y. I mean, this was look like it's going to actually be a C, so I'd be looking at this rather as A, B, and then C. But that 1-to-1 is down here towards this 28,614, which would still keep us above that support zone. So gonna have to just keep an eye on this. If we start to break down more impulsively, what we don't want to see happen here is do something like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 potentially come into this area, and then look to only form a three-wave move back to the upside, because this could then look to come and retest some of these areas, and we could then be setting up for an even deeper move where potentially we have 1, 2, another 1, 2 here, and that could actually look to trigger a much bigger sell-off to the downside. So we just need to be a little bit careful of this. When these moves start extending out like this, it's very hard to work out the subdivisions within the waves, but it does look like it needs at least another 2 drops. I mean, we can argue that this move completes here, so I'd be looking for at least another 2 drops to the downside here to complete this move. So that could look to take us down towards that 1-to-1, or at least into this channel that we have here, which is currently sitting at about this 28,936. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. We'll give you an update later once we have a bit more information and we get a bit more structure to work with. But yeah, I hope you found the video useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. As well as that, there are affiliate links for both Primex BT and BYBIT down there, both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis. If you do not have an account, using the affiliate link does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one.